All right, good evening, everyone. I apologize for the tardiness. It is 7:20 on December 22nd. I'll call this meeting of the Newtown Township Board of Supervisors to order. I will note that the board did meet in executive session where we discussed the following personnel matters, two disability issues, and then an employee performance discussion. With that being said, Mr. Neese, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Altieri.
Here.
Ms. Roberts Lightcap.
Here.
Ms. Chanlis.
Here.
Mr. Russo.
Here.
Mr. San Francesco.
Here.
Your engineer, solicitor, and manager are here.
Thank you very much. We'll now move down to section 4, which is the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Five point one. I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Motion was made by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor San Francesco. Is there any board discussion? All's in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, motion carries. So before we get into public comment for agenda items only, we do have this evening Supervisor Roberts Lightcap's swan song. It is Supervisor Roberts Lightcap's last meeting here as a member of the Newtown Township Board of Supervisors. And there is a resolution that we have that we were trying to keep a surprise, which I'm sure she didn't know was going to happen, that I am honored to read tonight. So resolution number 2025-25, recognizing Tina Roberts Lightcap for her years of service to Newtown Township. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Newtown Township wishes to recognize and thank Tina Roberts Lightcap for her 18 years of service to the residents of Newtown Township, consisting of 6 years as a member of the Newtown Township Planning Commission and 12 years as a township supervisor, including 5 years as the vice chair of the board and 3 as assistant secretary. And whereas Tina served faithfully and professionally, supported and advanced the mission of the township, and was a dedicated stalwart for fiscal responsibility, preserving the community's resources, advocating for quality land development, and promoting the best interests of the township and its residents. And whereas Tina was a tireless advocate for community events and connecting people in the community, as she served on the steering committee for both the reestablishment of the farmers market and the inaugural Gather in the Circle community event. And whereas Tina served with passion and diligence as the liaison to the Environmental Advisory Council, as well as to the Finance Committee for 9 years, for which she was instrumental in assuring the township received a AAA bond rating, saving the township hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest payments, and was instrumental in the township receiving the Government Finance Officers Association Budget Award. And whereas Tina served with exceptional dedication as a liaison to the Planning Commission for 12 years, during which time she was instrumental in safeguarding township lands and promoting thoughtful, high-quality development projects. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Newtown Township that Tina Roberts Lightcap is hereby recognized and thanked for her 18 years of dedicated and exceptional service to the Newtown Township community, adopted this 22nd day of December 2025, and that is my motion. Motion has been made and seconded, and now we can go into the roast portion that we tend to do for other supervisors. So I don't know if anybody wants to say anything first, since I just read that resolution.
I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with Tina. I've been here 8 years. No, 10 years. No,
8.
8. Okay.
That's what happens when you're the old
yeah.
one. You can keep track of everybody.
So enjoyed working with Tina. Always enjoyed her viewpoint and her comic relief. Sometimes it gets pretty difficult. Anyway, I enjoyed. I'll miss you sitting next to me.
Michael.
Thank you.
So I got to know Tina as a co-parent of twins back in the day, because I have twins also, and it's just been a great experience, through me with coming up as the new supervisor and just all the boards we've served on and little leagues we've sat through and all the events with our kids and everything else. It's just been awesome, and it's going to continue. You're not leaving, so it's even better, and we'll just have more time to spend together outside of this place.
I mean, I'm just gonna echo what everybody else said. I mean, I've known Tina outside of this board and inside of the board at the board, and She's always been an amazing professional, always had a lot to contribute, and I know that you'll do more things in the future. I don't know what yet, but I really appreciate everything you've done.
So I got to meet Tina, and I have something else prepared, but I got to meet Tina, when I first got involved, when I was like 16.
Yes.
16 years old. Tina and I were on the planning commission at first, her second, reappointment when you got thrown off by a different fraction, right? And then got reappointed back to the planning commission. And then in 2000, I guess it was 2013, was involved in your first campaign. And then fast forward 6 years after that, then we ran together,
Mhm.
and we've been,
Lots of afternoons knocking on doors. Where are you? Poor thing.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you?
but I also have had the opportunity of knowing Tina outside of this room and outside of this township, in a light that a lot of people here don't get to see. And I said this actually a few months ago, that for the 12 years that we were able to have Tina as a advocate for the residents of the community, I've seen in the city of Philadelphia, where she's known as Tina Roberts, and not Tina Roberts Lightcap, the most influential politicians, the most powerful developers call her stand up straight when she walks into a room and seek her guidance and advice. And we've been able to use that. And so tonight we recognize and thank Tina as she concludes those 12 years of dedicated service on the Board of Supervisors and almost 2 decades of service here into Newtown Township. Tina has given an incredible amount of time, energy, and care to this community. Over the years, she's approached every decision with thoughtfulness, fairness, and a steady commitment to doing what she believed was right for Newtown Township. Her leadership, including her time as vice chair, helped guide the township and me personally through important moments of growth, planning, and change. Beyond the votes and the meetings, Tina has consistently showed up for this community, listening to all of us, as we call her, for guidance, but listening to residents, supporting township staff, and respecting Newtown Township with professionalism and respect. On behalf of the board and the residents of Newtown Township, thank you, Tina, for your almost 2 decades of service to Newtown Township. And your dedication and the positive impact you have made on our community will leave a lasting legacy, and you will be certainly missed.
Oh, thank you. We won't do this whole roasting thing. I just have a couple of comments I would like to make. I promise it'll be quick.
Take your time. It's your last hurrah.
Yeah, right. I prepared some remarks, but for the past 12 years, this has been more than a responsibility. It's been a privilege to and an honor to be in one of the most meaningful chapters of my life, to be able to represent this community and to be entrusted with the leadership of this community. And I am so proud to have been part of this township. I've never imagined just how deeply this role would connect me to the people and the place we call home. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to listen, learn, and serve alongside individuals who truly care about this township. Those experiences have shaped me, and I will carry them with me always. My professional background, as Leonard had said, is in real estate development, and that experience strongly shaped my approach as a supervisor. I understand both the opportunities development can bring and the risk it poses, but when it's not carefully managed. From the very beginning, my goal was not to stop growth, but to keep development under control and to ensure that it reflect the community. While I know not all real estate developments that have occurred over the last 12 years are not perfect for everyone, I'm proud of the work that went into each project and that has allowed progress while protecting the character and quality of life that makes this township such a special place to call home. Equally important to me is our commitment to the environment. And one of the biggest thrills for me is all the trees that we have planted in the last 5 years, 6 years. It's been just staggering. We give back to the future. We give to the future by planting these trees and continuing our commitment to the future. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family. My husband, Stephen, my son, John, my son, Will. Sam is my son, Sam is, one of the twins is at the Flyers game. So hopefully they win. He just couldn't be here. He had that commitment. So unfortunately he was not here, but I do appreciate all of you. They've given up a lot. They heard me complain. And I'm very, very lucky and grateful to have them as my family. To our township administrator, Stephen Neese, Tom Barbine, Andy Reschek, and our solicitor, Rich Sikora, and our township engineer, Eric Johnson, and all the administrative staff, including Desiree. Thank you for all your professionalism, dedication, and steady guidance. I'd also like to acknowledge Suzanne Willennon and Rich Lafayette because they were here when I started on this board. To our Public Works team, I'd like to give a shout out because Public Works never always gets mentioned by name. So the fact that my son Will works with these guys, so some of these are nicknames, so hopefully nobody will be offended. George Sharretts, Harry Robinson, Andrew, Benny, Horse, Nick, and Greg, thank you for the work you do every day, often behind the scenes, to keep this township running safely and smoothly. To our police department, especially Chief Lunn and Captain John Newell, thank you for your service, your commitment, and constant presence in protecting our community. And to our fire department, Chief Young and Chief Everloff, who was chief when I first started. Their dedication to keeping our community safe is well noted. My fellow current township supervisors, Leonard, Mike, Kathy, and Paul, it's been an honor to serve alongside you. In addition, I'd like to also mention the past supervisors that I've had the honor to serve with, the late Joe Catania, who taught me patience, and John Nahn, Ed Partridge, and Linda Gabel. Our work was not always easy, but it's always meaningful. I'm proud of what we can accomplish together and grateful for the respect and collaboration we share. To the residents of the township, thank you for trusting me, challenging me, inspiring me. It has been truly a privilege to serve you. As I step away from this role, I do with confidence in the future that this township and great gratitude for the journey we shared. While my title may change, my commitment to the community will never end. Thank you for letting me be a small part of this township story. Thank you for 12 years of service, growth, and community. That's it. Are we gonna get a picture? We're clapping for your colors. Thank you.
And all of us, we're voting for that resolution, right? Everyone in favor, right? There you go, perfect.
I forgot about that. I messed that up too.
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
thing
no.
I've learned now.
Yeah, might as well.
I know you like pictures, so. Right one.
I'm gonna put this card back there. I got a card.
They smell pretty. Get in the center, Steve. You're gonna be in the next one. Which is no more hands. Sure. With all of us, here we
You want all-
flowers down.
Yeah, you get all the flowers. He's gonna go. He's taking a half day. He's taking a half day today anyway.
I know, I have to do the rest of it. I know.
Taking away from your resolution. That's very much more than the board.
We'll Photoshop Sam. Because that's just as soon as.
Total coincidence, what's going on? Here you stand.
I want more time.
Oh, just for the photo. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Now we have to do work.
Done.
We did that pretty quick.
All right, now we'll move down to section 6, which is public comment for agenda items only. If there's any members of the public who wish to provide any public comment, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Also, Lixon 4727 Mill Hollow Lane. I wanted to address number 13, which is the land development approval.
So Paul, if you want, you can wait until after the presentation, or you can make your public, you can wait. We'll do public comment at that, when we get to the actual hearing, or
Okay.
the approval, or you can do it now. It's whatever you want to do. Like, just in case there's something that they say that addresses any of your concerns, you can say it now. It's how.
No, I'm up here, I'm gonna say it now.
There you go, whatever works.
Okay, so my house is the first house. I live very close to Reese's Run. And this is I'm a pickleball player. It's pickleball. I looked at the rendering. I like the rendering. I like pickleball. I endorse the project. All I'm concerned about is stormwater. And I would like that there's thought given that even though there might be in the beginning stormwater basins and retentions and different kinds of remediations, that there's some thought that that gets an annual checkup, or there's some kind of checkup, so that as years go by, maybe 5-10 years from now, we don't discover that all the stormwater applications were clogged up and then they really didn't work. You know, we're all watching the news and we see what happens in Washington State and Northern California, and anything can happen. Right now, you know, here in Newtown Square, we've not had bad storms, but it could happen. So thank you.
Thank you. And Paul, the only thing I'll mention is, just in general for land development, when there's a stormwater, there's usually a stormwater agreement that gets recorded on the property with a 10-year inspection. That the applicant would, and again, it's just land development in general, the applicant upfronts that money for the cost of the inspections that the township would perform for the first 10 years. And then I forget what happens after that, but it is the responsibility of the landowner.
It's still a perpetual obligation of the landowner to maintain it. So if we get any information, and we've learned from time to time that that's happened throughout the community.
And that's for all developments. So there's also 14 Phillips Lane, which backs up to my neighbors. And is that gonna be the same
It's
there?
anytime anybody does a project that requires stormwater mitigation, there is a requirement not only for the, that it be as an easement on the property, but it's all, or no, recorded to the property, but it also has the inspections for 10 years.
Well, inspection.
Prepaid,
Yes.
and then the inspections go on beyond that.
Okay,
So it's in perpetuity because it gets recorded against the property. So even if the owner changes, it's still recorded on the property. And so it goes into perpetual existence.
good to know. Thank you.
That shouldn't always exist, right? So in the past, a lot of developments were made without it. So that's a lot of people confuse pre-stormwater ordinance and post-stormwater ordinance developments.
Any other public comment related to agenda items only? Mr. Butler?
John Butler, 102 Hunters Run. I see now that the Campus Boulevard redevelopment is canceled. But when I looked at the agenda online, it wasn't even showing. And it would have been nice to have known it was canceled, because I was going to alert our community that was a possibility it was going to be on here. I'd like to talk about the budget. I looked at some old minutes. I saw comment 2024, one supervisor made a comment if she knew the budget was going to go up close to 7%, she wouldn't have voted for it. I believe it went up around 5% last year. I don't know what it's going up this year, but we're talking about a shortfall even after we picked up $1.5 million amusement tax that we didn't know about. And I was on the county budget committee, and I'm happy with the county budget. But we had 60 people that volunteered to go over the budget of the county. We had every department head in, we interviewed them and came up with suggestions on how to reduce some of the costs or maybe increased revenue. And we had a finance committee of 5 members, is now down to 3. But I don't think they really went over every department head in there to review how we could reduce the costs. And really, the residents with the county increase and possibly school, and every year it's going up like 6, 5, and I have no idea this year. But, you know, they're hurting now. And we should have a group like that beyond 3 people to really talk to each department head and see what they could save. And I did look at the police budget. I didn't quite understand why. It looked to me like it was going up like 20%. And I didn't quite, whether we put in overtime for the PGA tournament, which we're going to be reimbursed or what. I didn't quite understand that. And I don't think that came out in anything. And I just, you know, we have to reduce costs. And more than 3 people need to be involved. And a 3-person committee, they can't even talk to each other. And unless it's a public meeting. They can't go to have coffee in the morning and talk ideas without violating the Sunshine Act. And 5 people, 2 could talk. The county, we had 60. And we got a lot of good ideas. There's a lot of people in the community that have ideas, you know. I don't want to beat the amusement tax with a dead horse. That's been in the that's been on the books for 20 years. And apparently it's never been collected. My question is, and I don't want to hang around for the pickleball, but is that going to be considered an amusement that we could get the tax off of that?
So Mr. Butler, this is public comment. If you have no additional public comment, then I think your time has elapsed, but.
Okay.
But I do just want a point of clarification. You said that you were on that budget, workshop for the county?
Yes.
60 people you said were on it?
It started, yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
had
that
it,
tax increase was what, 19% this year?
would have been
Following-
higher.
But it was following 23% from last year.
But
Okay.
we came
Just
up
wanted
with,
that clarification. I appreciate it.
we had good ideas.
Thank you very much,
And
Mr.
when
Butler.
they're going to come back, if the county doesn't implement them,
Just want to make sure
they're
I'm
going to be
correct
in
on that.
public.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Mr. Neese, just out of curiosity, the agenda is always posted the Friday before the meeting. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's
And
correct.
it's also publicly available. It's also posted
Yes,
publicly
but
available.
I will say if you're relating to the comment related to the the cancellation of public hearing, that did not get on until today.
That
we-
did not. But I'm saying it was, but it was never on the agenda on Monday, on
It was
Friday.
not on the.
It was never on the agenda Friday when it was posted.
It was not.
Yeah,
It got
I
put on
understand.
today.
I
Yeah.
understand that.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. All right, any other public comment from anyone else? Yes.
Hi, Debbie Warden from 4723 Mill Hollow Lane. First of all, I want to say, Tina, thank you so much from all of us out there and in the community. What a noble and beautiful effort. I appreciate that. 12 years is nothing small short of a miracle, and thank you. Appreciate that. I also just want to get on record quickly about the stormwater. I'm Paul's neighbor. I've lived there 25 years. I see what happens. There's a small little technical term, I'm not sure, that goes Reese's Run underneath our driveway. And so I just wanted to say, it just needs some attention. So hoping that we can make sure that that doesn't come to be a problem down the road. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment for agenda items? All right, perfect. We'll now move down to section 7.1, the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the December 8th, 2025 meeting?
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any other board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Section 8, reports, 8.1, report from the police department. Do you have anything to supplement, Chief Lunn?
No, nothing to add.
Thank you very much. 8.2, report from the fire department, Chief Young. I don't think he's here, and I don't think he's online.
He's not.
Okay,
He's-
perfect.
He was having an event at the firehouse tonight.
8.3, report from the Public Works Department, Director Sharretts. Do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Thank you very much. 8.4, report from the Finance Department, Mr. Barbine. Anything to add? Thank you very much. 8.5, report from the library, Director Caruso. I don't believe it. Arlene, anything to add? Thank you very much. 8.6, report from the Township Engineer, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. I was just asked to give a little update on 3 projects that we're wrapping up the year with and going into next year with. First one is the Stony Brook Boulevard retaining wall, which as of today is substantially complete and they stabilized disturbed areas. There's a day that it is a little bit warmer, then come back and do the final washing of the wall, and then that project is complete. The Greer Park Phase 1 project, which is the trail, stream realignment, and pond. That is bids are due next week. We've received quite a few technical questions from multiple contractors, so really looking forward to having some good bids on that one, and we'll be discussing that with hopefully with a prospective bidder the first meeting in January. And then the Bishop Hollow sidewalk, it's a project that kind of been talking about for a while, looking to get off the ground, move towards bidding in January. And just an overview of the project, that is to install the missing section of the sidewalk, basically from the municipal complex all the way up to the softball pony league fields, repairs around the township building, new pedestrian crossing Bishop Hollow at Ellis Avenue, and then filling in some missing sections up further near the Carriage House Apartments. We've gone through a few rounds with PennDOT. We're close on the final details, so we'll be looking to move that project forward in the new year.
Awesome. Any questions for the township engineer? I will say the retaining wall looks good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive by it every day to drop my daughter off. It looks great. Thanks for that. 8.7, report from the township manager, Mr. Neese.
Yeah, I just have one thing that came to my attention late this afternoon. We're going to get some social media out and some other releases out on this, but I just want township residents to be very careful. If you're getting emails from the township, please make sure that on the email that the end of it after the @ sign says newtowntownship.org, all spelled out. We've had some people actually receive emails that are saying they owe money to the township and they want them to reach out to them via that email. Please, please, please. If you get an email from the township and you have any question, please call us directly. Call our number here, 610-356-0200. And do not respond to an email that you're not sure about. If it doesn't have Newtown Township all spelled out, it's not us. And so please protect yourselves. We don't want anybody being taken advantage of.
This isn't just happening here at Newtown. This
No,
is other townships, school districts. It's happening all over and they're just getting it through. And just make sure you check the email address too. They'll just change it up. But yeah, Steve, thank you for alerting everybody for that.
Any other questions for the township manager? Section 9, payments, 9.1. Can I get a motion approving a refund of $135.50 to O'Donnell Roofing Company for the permit review fee overpayment for 25 Reese Ave? A permit application fee was submitted and paid in the amount of $275. However, the final cost for the permit fees only totaled $139.50.
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 9.2. Can I get a motion approving a refund of $64.50 to the Rendell Associates LLC for the permit review fee overpayment for commercial permit 25-0645? The commercial permit review fee is $275. However, the final cost of the permit fees totaled $210.50. Motion is made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Chanlis. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Section 10, bills, 10.1. I've reviewed the bills and I'll make a motion to approve the bills on check register A dated December 22nd, 2025, totaling $300,442.65.
Second.
Motion is made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Section 11, new business, 11.1. Can I get a motion to consider using retired Public Works employee Pete Williams as an as-needed basis to assist with winter weather events and possibly leaf collection work? His rate of pay would be commensurate with the experienced full-time Public Works staff.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? Steve, this is pretty self-explanatory, but is there anything you want to add to it?
No, it's just to help us out, particularly during winter storms. We try not to have people out for significant hours without breaks, and this will help us to do that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 11.2, can I get a motion approving the attached third-party fee schedules?
It was not attached, so we're gonna, if I can, get you to table this to the 5th, please.
Is there a motion to table? I still have to make a motion to table it. Mike made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 11.3, can I get a motion to consider discussion and actually, strike that. 11.3, discussion and adoption of 2026 township fee schedule. See item 14.2 below for the associated resolution.
I think I goofed.
You think you goofed?
I did. I apologize. The third-party fee schedules
I thought it was in our
were
packet.
attached.
Yeah, I thought it was in our packet.
It's the township fee schedule that was not. I jumped on that too fast.
All right.
It's
So-
the reverse.
Mike, you want to make a motion to table 11.3? Ina?
Yes,
Mo-
second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap to table 11.3. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. So going back up to 11.2, without going through the full parliamentary procedure, no one has an objection to us going back to this, right?
No.
Great. All right. So 11.2, can I get a motion approving the attached third-party fee schedules?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. 11.4, consider approving the 2026 township budget. Mr. Neese.
If you just give me one moment, I'm gonna share my screen. Think. So I'm not going to go through the entire budget at this time. I really want to just talk about the changes since we last advertised and where we are. And I'm going to go through this rather quickly. There are some changes that have been made. I just want to let you know what they are. Under the LST tax, we increased that $5,500 in expected revenue based on some collections that we've had towards the end of the year. The permit fees increased $100,000. And so that kind of matches what we think we're going to bring in 2026, so that we're, or 2025. So we're staying kind of in line with that. There are some expenses that have increased. The police increased 70,000, fire increased 10, and public works increased 11. And then the other departments about 2,500. I want to real quick talk why that increase happened. The increase, most of that increase is related to two areas. This is insurance related. The first is workers' comp. Our workers' comp went up 25%. And so we didn't get that information until middle to the end of last week. I think it was like Thursday afternoon when we received that. So we made those adjustments to the budget. The other piece of that is also some of our liability insurance went up. And again, that was part of that falls under the police department. There's a specific liability for police. And then if you look down at our insurance itself, it went up about $32,000. I'm sorry, it went up $37,000 in those areas. So those were the numbers that we were hit with that came in since we put the budget together. And so I wanted to make sure that you were aware of those. We have taken those into account as we went forward in the budget. We also are going to recommend two changes. We're going to recommend changing the millage for the streetlight fund and increasing it by 0.003. Make sure I have the right number of zeros in front, but at the same time, reducing the hydrant fund by the same amount, 0.003. It's not 100% across the board because not everybody who has hydrant has streetlight. Not everybody who has streetlight has hydrant, but it's about equal across the board in revenues that we get. The biggest piece is the hydrant fund has more than enough fund balance that we need. The streetlight fund balance is actually decreasing, and we actually need that to go up because we know the streetlights that we put in about 8 years ago now. I can't believe it's been that long. Do you remember doing that, Tina? Yeah. So when we did those streetlights between about 7 and 8 years ago, they have a 15-year shelf life or 15-year life, and we have to replace them about once every 15 years. And so we want to make sure we're putting that money so when it comes time, we'll just be able to replace those. So that's what's happening with those. So we're just flipping those numbers for you in that. I am, again, like I said, I can go through every one of these line items if you want me to, where they changes were. Whoops, what did that do? There we go. But basically what I told you were the line items, the departments that changed and the line items that changed. So if you're comfortable, I'm just going to kind of quickly go through all of these and jump all the way down to the end so that you can kind of see two things real quickly. The big piece that I wanted to make you aware of is that we're still about $800,000 gap where we are with the budget, even with those changes. And then I'm real quickly, if I can, take you over to streetlight. With that change, instead of dropping closer to about 14,000, we're going to be only decreasing about 6. And then on the hydrant fund, we will decrease 8, which is, whoops, I'm sorry. My fingers should stop moving. With the hydrant fund, we would decrease about 8,000, which we're more than comfortable with. We're actually going to do that for several years to get that back in line where it needs to be. We don't need that much in the hydrant fund. So that's the proposal. Regarding the changes, I know some conversations have been made related to potentially doing something with the police cars. I could tell you that one of those options would be to take that out of fund balance this year, if you chose to. If I could just talk about a couple things that are in the budget that I think would help you and the public understand what makes up this big change. First of all, I talked briefly just a couple minutes ago. We do have a 25% increase in just the workers' comp benefits for our employees. In addition to the 25% we had related to workers' comp, we also had a 7.4% increase in health insurance this year. And that impacted not only us as the employer, but it also impacted our non-uniform folks who also contribute and pay towards part of that cost. So we had that impact as well. Just under the police contract, what their contract was that we passed last year, and trying to stay competitive with the communities around us and the benefits in that area, in the police area, that alone was just about $450,000 worth of increase of that $800,000. Half of it is related right there. If you look at the non-uniform folks, they had about $77,000 increase in wages, and then about 85,000 increased between the benefits of the health insurance and the workers' comp. And so
Stephen, put another way, that increase is a contractual increase based off of the contract.
That
and
is
not in any way related to an event that may or may not be occurring in the township.
That's correct.
That's what I thought. Okay.
That's correct. Also, just kind of contractually, as we think about some of the things, we had a $25,000 increase to electric. We had some increase. You might argue that IT isn't contractual, but we do a third-party IT company, and they came back and said we really had to beef up our cybersecurity in a couple areas. And with Paul's having that experience, I asked Paul to review that, and he reviewed that with me, and he said it really is things that we should be doing.
Well, even to what I'm sorry to interrupt, but even to what you had said about these fake emails going out,
Yep.
and so you don't know how they're capturing some of the, because you said it was someone who had appeared before the planning commission, so we've got to be sure that we protect ourselves.
Yeah, we're trying everything we can to help try to protect.
And then we also save on insurance that way, correct, right? If
Yeah.
we've got, if we have the proper, right, Paul,
Yeah,
in that
we have-
case?
Cyber insurance, you have to have certain things in place, and that's, Steve and I went through the whole thing to make sure we do get that discount and we
Mhm.
get things in line.
So in a way, it saves,
Yep.
it can be a
It can be a
savings as well.
savings, absolutely. Our recycling contract, that was just about, I think, $29,000, $30,000 that it went up. So there's another expense, and that's all contractual. We anticipate just between keeping our accreditation for the police department and the mowing, we're anticipating about $25,000 increase in that area. I've already talked about kind of insurance increases, but what I didn't tell you was just even vehicle insurance went up, general liability insurance went up, and then the fire workers comp that we pay on the behalf of our volunteer firefighters, that went up $53,000. Our debt service, because of how we wrap, if you're familiar, we get to wrap debt service when we borrow. And so we had a borrowing for the road program, and then we wrapped the debt around that. And so when this year we paid off, the great news is we paid off the debt for the road program. That was wonderful. The bad news was because we were paying that out of the liquid fuels account this year now, because of the wrap, when we go into the general fund, we've had an $80,000 increase there. The other miscellaneous cost, we determined we needed some more salt. We determined, line painting was important, maintaining the John West House, code books, that was about $20,000. In the budget today, unless you make a decision not to take it out, but then it would stay in there, was the police cars. That was $132,000. That total increase was about $1 million. And we tried to look for everything that we could cut to try to take a look at all of that. And these were all things that were pretty much contractual. We didn't add anything extra this year. I think the only thing we had added earlier, and we took that out earlier, was the position for the custodial position. And we took that out before we even advertised the budget. We also had savings for the pension. If you recall, 23, we had that huge increase. And then in 25, when they did the reevaluation, we're going to end up with about a $229,000 savings, which gave our expense portion to be about $847,000 as a gap, about $6,700 more is a gap. In the revenue, we have $6,700 more on that side. So with all that, that's kind of where we are. If we take the police cars out, we can reduce about $132,000 from there, and reduce that gap down further. I'm glad to answer any questions and do whatever you want me to do going forward.
Any questions to Steve from the board? I mean, I'll just say that I have with regards to the police cars, I mean, my personal suggestion would be to take that out of the fund balance and take that out of the operating and just count that as, a one-time expense for that personally.
Mhm.
Catherine, Mike, you guys fine with that?
I agree.
Okay. Any other questions for Steve? So Steve, with that out, it's what, 700 roughly?
I'm sorry?
With that out, the gap is 700.
Yes, 700, yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. Neese? Any additional questions for Mr. Neese?
Oh, we're doing this, but we have one other thing on the agenda that I might recommend that we actually just hold on this, because if you vote to choose option 2 below, we potentially could take out a little bit more savings if you wanted to do that.
All right, so when you say hold,
Like it's like instead of taking an action right now on the
Yep.
budget, we've talked about that.
Yep.
I would, obviously you need to take an action tonight.
Yep.
We're the last meeting of the year, at least we hope.
don't tempt us. We'll just take Tina's resolution back, change the date on it. Yeah.
But so if you went and acted on 11.5, there is a potential that I could take that out of the budget and provide you some additional savings.
All right, so let's jump to that now. 11.5, so we're just gonna leave 11.4 open-ended. I mean, there's the resolution we have to do anyway, so
Yeah,
11.5 has to do with the insurance plans.
Yeah, so it's whether you choose option 1 or 2. If we look at the premium exhibit, the option 2, option 1 has a little bit beefier coverage related to our excess liability. And then the option 2 takes a few things that it doesn't cover out, and we would save about $13,000 is what it works out to be. I've talked to the broker even today, and the insurance company that's quoting our excess umbrella was willing to drop $2,500 on the insurance plan. So you would have that drop, plus you would have the, plus you could save another 13. If you go back to the other one, please. Yeah, that one. If you go down to the bottom, right there, it's the 25,270. If you'll slide the thing over so we can see column 3 versus the 12,168. So the 25,270 would drop to 22,770. And then if you chose that one, if you choose the other one, it would still be the 12,168.
All right, what's the board's thoughts?
Option 2 makes the most sense right now.
Option 2.
Sounds like.
All right, option 2 is the winner. Steve, do you want us to go through the rest of this agenda so you can get the resolution finalized?
If you want to do that, give me a few moments. Yes, and I'll
Yeah,
do some of
just
the
run
other, then
through
we
it.
can come back to that. That
Yep.
would be great.
So we'll now move down to, so am I good to do 11.6? You don't need.
Did
any-
you actually take a vote on 11.5? I
thank you
think
for
you
that.
just said that.
So,
I don't even know you have a motion.
no, you're correct. So I'll make so, is there can I get a motion yeah, right. Can I get a motion authorizing the execution of all 2026 insurance plan renewals by the township manager, choosing option 2 totaling $632,664?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. 11.6, can I get a motion approving the 2026 committed and assigned fund balance as stated in the attached memo from the township manager and finance director?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap. Is there any board discussion? Steve, you need to add anything to this?
The only thing I would just add is this is a requirement that we have as part of our audit if we were going to set aside dollars. And we've done this every year, I think probably going back to 2015, that we've done this action. It's part of the GFOA requirements, or the Gatsby requirements for governmental accounting. And so we've been doing that. What this does is it just sets those dollars aside of our fund balance and saying they're committed to those. And it's only a board action that can uncommit them. And so that's that piece. Under the assigned, the board made the decision years ago that they also wanted to do the assigned. So there's not a lot of difference between committed versus assigned, but it is the way we put it in. And so that's why it's that way.
Any other questions or any questions for the township manager? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, section 12, there is no public hearing as it was never on the agenda from Friday. Section 13, is land development approval. Consider the presentation discussion of 4605 Westchester Pike, the indoor recreation in Morville. I know that the applicant's here and represented by counsel, Mr. McHugh, if you want to go up to that table, if it's more, or you can use the podium, whichever you want. I will note that I will be recusing myself. This applicant is a client of the firm. I've not been involved in this application, and through the rules of professional responsibility, I've been walled off both from electronic and internal discussions at my firm, as well as internal and electronic discussions here at the township building. So with that, I will let Supervisor Roberts Lightcap grill my associate, Mr. McHugh here.
Whenever you're ready.
Good evening, Matt McHugh, attorney for Newtown Square Racket and Fitness Center LLC. Here this evening with Shanil Desai, representative of the applicant. We also have representatives from the development team, from Chester Valley Engineers, the civil engineer for the project, and also McMahon, the traffic engineer, or Bowman, the traffic engineer for the project. We're here this evening to discuss a proposed indoor recreation development at the overall Marville site, located off of Westchester Pike at Alice Grimm Boulevard. We are speaking particularly about preliminary final land development plans for a 3.14 acre portion of that property located directly adjacent to the Boron approved land development site that I think the board is very familiar with. The property here, as you know, is zoned C2, but it's also in the Lifestyle Village District. And I think when you guys amended the zoning ordinance some years ago to allow for the Lifestyle Village, it is exactly this kind of use is what you're proposing or what I'm hoping to attract to this development. So what we're here for tonight is really phase one of the project, which is the indoor recreation portion. And the applicant is proposing to construct an approximately 24,576 square foot building, which will house indoor recreation, racket sports, primarily 6 pickleball and padel courts, in addition to some locker rooms, fitness areas, and lounge space. I'll note that the plans also show an outdoor patio. That will be the subject of a future conditional use application that will come before this board for outdoor recreation. Right now, it's just shown on the plans as a patio area. It would be utilized as such unless and until conditional use approval is granted for that subsequent outdoor recreation use, and we'd be back before the board for that. I'll note that we have just resubmitted revised land development plans today. I know that your township staff has quickly looked at them, but they haven't had a chance to provide a meaningful review. We believe that they further and show our intent to comply with all the outstanding review comments that are in the review letters, meaning those from your township engineer, from the township fire marshal, and also from the township arborist. So just to restate that we are a will comply on that. A couple other items I just want to identify and highlight for the board. When you adopted the Lifestyle Village zoning ordinance or zoning amendment, you didn't provide for a specific parking calculation for the recreation uses. The onus was incumbent upon the applicant to provide professional information from a professional engineer justifying the parking ratio. So you'll see that the proposed plans currently show 81 parking spaces, which we believe is ultimately going to be sufficient for phase one indoor and phase two outdoor. But just as it relates to the phase one indoor portion, we have 81 parking spaces. Using the ITE data, we submitted a report from the traffic engineer identifying the peak usage on the weekends. The most parking demand would be 31 spaces. So the 81 spaces is more than sufficient to allow for, and I think the board is able to address that in their approval this evening if you're willing to do so.
But Matt, the 81 spaces will be constructed at the same time.
Yep, it's going to be
constructed.
We're going to construct all the infrastructure improvements at first.
And that's all, that impervious surface, including this patio. I assume the patio is going to be impervious for now, and so that's in your calculation for stormwater management.
Incorporated for
So, and you'll build all that facility
Yep.
while you're doing this,
Yep.
when you do this indoor.
Yep.
even though you have phase two coming.
Correct.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
absolutely correct. Just some other items to note. We're providing a 5-foot cinder, well, we're providing sidewalk along the frontage of the 3.14 acre parcel. And then obviously there's going to ultimately be sidewalk down to the intersection in Westchester Pike. Since we don't know exactly how that's going to be developed at this time, we worked with township staff to come to an accommodation where we would provide a 5-foot wide cinder trail, walking trail in lieu of the sidewalk until there's further development, and then it'll ultimately be replaced with the sidewalk once that future development is determined. Also note, other than that, we will comply on all the review letters. We do have 2 waivers. They're very, I would say, standardized waivers that this board probably sees all the time. The first is to allow for a combined preliminary final submission, and the second is related to the type of stormwater pipe that we're using. We're using a high-density polyethylene pipe. So those are the only 2 waivers. We've worked through land development plan comments from your staff and addressed all of those to eliminate prior waivers. And essentially we'll comply at this point in time. We reviewed a draft of the resolution provided by your township solicitor. We're in agreement with that. So at this point, we're happy to answer any questions. We do have renderings of the proposed building at various locations, showing that those are obviously conceptual in nature, but will generally reflect the building that's going to be constructed there.
Do we have any questions? I actually have questions about lighting, because I know the lighting had come up before with the boron. And I know that boron is closer to the residential than that. So I assume that the lighting will be, it won't be, it'll be consistent with the lighting that boron is going to provide.
Yeah, so they're certainly not asking for any relief from any lighting, and we're obviously very aware of any concerns that they're making from a residential perspective and can work to make sure that those are obviously eliminating a trespass or foot candle trespass other than what's permitted by the zoning ordinance.
Just because I know that was questions when that had come to in front of us, so.
Sure.
The height of the building, right, I forgot about that. The height of the, thank you. That's why I'm transitioning.
Yeah, we think we're under 45. I think it might actually be 42 at the peak.
Okay, at the peak, okay.
Yeah. But again, compliant with the zoning ordinance.
What are your hours for operation?
So we did submit it, notionally anticipating sort of standard weekday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then.
Okay, so you're not open past like 8, 9 o'clock at night?
Correct.
Okay, so then the lights will be off on the inside of the building where you have that big panel of open windows?
The interior lights are saying. I would not want to run the lights on at night, no.
Well, no, I'm just asking a question because you have a huge, I assume that's all glass.
On the
One
corner.
Oh, that one corner,
Yeah.
yes, that is a, yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing people are gonna see. I mean, the engineer can shield all the lighting to the residents, but I don't know which way that's exactly facing. So,
Southwest, towards the back sort of side and towards the creek, towards the,
Back here.
where the backside of
So
the
the
border
windows
on
are-
building,
or facing the creek?
yes.
It's going towards Westchester
South,
Pike.
Oh, I
southwest.
see the parking lot, Mike, see the end of the parking lot, so you come in and you're.
So that's facing the boron building is what you're telling me?
Yes,
Yeah,
one side
like
is,
here.
it's a corner, so
Yeah, that's why.
one side's
Yeah.
facing due west and the other facing due south.
Yep. We just had issues with some of the buildings along Westchester Pike, with their interior lights
The
on,
lights on 24/7 and it's high up in the air and.
and it was.
Yeah, I think we can
Yeah.
agree that we'll make sure the interior lighting is off reasonably
I
after.
mean, an hour after you leave.
Yeah,
after the
yeah,
last
exactly. There's
person
usually some
leaves,
cleanup or
just gotta
whatever.
Clean up people or whatever. 2 hours after the last person leaves and cleanup's done.
Sure,
You
absolutely.
just don't want to run them. I mean, you don't want to run them to begin with, but
We certainly want to pay for that.
we don't want to have the lights emitting off the property.
Understood.
And the questions about stormwater management,
Yeah, so that, I mean, I think Mr. Sikora, but we, as part of the obligation on the approval would be to enter in an O&M agreement for the stormwater. We've already calculated what the initial 10-year fee is. We're agreeable to all of that.
okay, and then the landscaping, I guess, is part of the stormwater management as well? Is there landscaping that happens
So, yeah, so one of the things.
around the building?
with the building and also in the riparian buffer. So we're gonna, we had conversations with the township arborist this morning. We're generally will comply on all of his comments, and he's gonna do a site visit just to identify exactly some last minute details to make sure we're in compliance with his review comments.
Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. Johnson, is this,
Okay.
this stormwater system tying into the boron system to get down to, Reese's Run, or how's that happening?
No, so it is a independent stormwater system that has, they have two of them. They have one that's like a detention system in the parking lot that basically takes that peak rate
Yeah.
and controls it. And the other one is the infiltration, helps infiltrate some of that water in. And then any overflow that's from there there's an outfall that would discharge towards the creek. I can tell you, just to elaborate on the not only is that the township, they have an agreement with the township for observations and inspections, but since this property, which means it also throws them into a review and oversight at the county conservation district level.
All right, but how are they getting the water down to Reese's Run?
So and they can elaborate, it is, Reese's Run runs the south side of the property, so kind of if you look to the area to the bottom of the parking lot, go to the right side of the parking lot, below the patio area. That is where the discharge point. And originally when they were going through the plans, there was a discharge point that was basically the southwest corner of the parking lot. While they were going through their review process with the County Conservation District, it was determined that to meet those regulations, they had to move it towards the further east side. So it discharges overland, leaves the outfall, dissipates across some planting area, and then would go towards the creek. And that's just the surplus that leaves the basin, which
Okay.
our regulations, the current stormwater requirements, that means that rate cannot be any more than that site is now, even when it's vegetated.
Okay.
Those two. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Yes, Paul?
Paul Seligson, 4727 Mill Hollow Lane. I'm curious how the 81 parking spots got determined.
Sure. So we had our traffic engineer using IPE data prepared a report that looks at the number of courts, the lounge and recreation space. For this phase one, the requirement was only 31 parking spaces.
It's 31.
For just the indoor portion.
Right.
There's a higher, so it breaks down to 24 for the courts, 7 for the fitness area, 3 for the lounge, and 3 for staff. Like it's actually 37.
How many indoor courts and how many outdoor courts will there be total, do you think?
The 6 indoor right now. The outdoor courts are subject to the conditional use application. We'll have to come before the board and make a presentation on that. It hasn't been fully determined yet.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Lori Casker, 4707 Westchester Pike. I'm also a neighbor to Paul and Debbie who spoke earlier. I just want to speak in regard to Reese's Run. I think that at this point, when we do have like just this past week, the storm that we had, Reese's Run, the water was level with the driveway. I'm just curious if someone has ever seen that during the storm itself. Kind of just get an eye on where, like, what the levels are currently. I guess this is more words. Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay, he would be the one to
He
answer.
would be the,
Okay, I just think that would be a good idea, because I think that there would be, you know, a bit of a visual, you know.
I know that this township staff, the Public Works Department and Mr. Neese, they go around different areas of the neighborhood
Yeah.
from time to time during weather events and otherwise, just to make sure things are, you know,
Right,
at least they have a thorough understanding of what's
yeah,
happening.
of what's happening. Okay, sweet, that's all. I just think that would be a good idea.
And
Thank you.
Public Works does go out, in the rain, because they're checking all the inlets, and I know that they do drive around, and I'm sure that
Yeah.
we can always make sure that that we talk to Stephen and well, they talk.
The township-
to-
That's
George.
actually owns property.
Yeah, right on there, yeah.
Right
Yeah.
on Westchester Pike, and then
Yeah.
a little further back on that hillside.
Yeah,
right? So
there's like, it's that culvert,
they-
like
Yes.
They're very
specifically.
familiar with deer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess that's just my thought, and maybe just making sure that it's like clear underneath that culvert, that's all.
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
If that culvert is ever not clear, just make sure, call that in. If that culvert is ever not clear, make sure you let the township know.
Okay, can I get, so what do I do next? That's the presentation?
That's what some attorneys would call the offer of proof. So he's explained the project.
I've only
And
done this for
he's-
12 years, and I
Yeah.
still haven't now, so.
So he's basically said,
That's
if I
not the
call
last
on my
guy.
experts, this is what they'd say. So he's presented the plans, our engineers reviewed it, so he has experts here to answer any questions that you may have if you want to burrow down, or you could just ask the experts behind him. Everything that you've heard, is that what you would say?
You know, Chester Valley team, do you agree? Yes.
I mean,
Good job, Mr. Solicitor. So can I get, so that's done. So can I get a motion to consider, 14.1, consider approving resolution 2025-28 land development approval for 4605 Westchester Pike indoor recreation at Marville.
Oh, Rich, it's my turn, right?
Oh, yeah, you have to read
There we
it,
go.
sorry.
So I make a motion to the resolution preliminary final land development approval. Alice Green Boulevard indoor recreation racket sports. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Newtown Township hereby resolves conditionally approves the affirmation application and plans subject to conditioned upon the following. This approval relates to the project site only as depicted on the plans. It does not constitute approval of any other part of the master site unless specifically approved to support this application. The applicant must comply to the following. The comments and recommendations set forth by the township engineer review letter to satisfaction to the township engineer. The representation of the Chester Valley response letter to any updates thereof. The comments and recommendations of the township fire marshal review letter. The township arborist review letter, since subsequent reviews provided by the township arborist, the plans are revised. The applicant will pay a fee in lieu of recreational lands per township code in the amount of $20,000. This fee will be revisited during the conditional use hearing. The applicants will enter the stormwater management agreement with the township and pay the appropriate stormwater management fee of $5,200 and to defray the cost of the inspections per the codes 148.53B. And any plans regarding sewage conveyances, facilities, or decommissioning of existing sewage facilities must be reviewed and approved by the Newtown Township, Delaware County Municipal Authority and or its engineer. Applicants and owner must obtain necessary sewer approvals by permits raised by the DEP and the Newtown Township, Delaware County Municipal Authority, in which other such connections to financial security agreements shall require compliance in all respects with township codes, ordinances, regulations, and applicable county, state, and federal regulations, including necessary NPDES permits, approvals, and obtain necessary sewage planning approvals. Applicant will post financial security and execute a developer's agreement, financial security agreement, and financial security pursuant to the MPC and township code prior to applying to receive permits, of which all may be executed by the township manager upon agreement of the township solicitor and township engineer. Preliminary final approval is contingent upon payment of all outstanding professional fees, escrows replenished within 45 days of approval, except properly challenged in accordance with the MPC. Applicant shall revise these plans, provide stormwater outfall efficiency conveys, limited runoff of the riparian buffer adjacent to the stream. Limited grading will be proposed to reestablish riparian buffer area previously impacted to fill activities permitted by a former plan approved by the township and Delaware County Conservation District. The applicant will coordinate with the township arborist to enhance the riparian buffer with native plants according to his recommendations. In order to comply with the pedestrian or requirements of the lifestyle village, The applicant agrees with additional condition to add sidewalks along Alsgren Boulevard. The applicant has agreed to a trail easement to traverse the property from east to west along Reese's Run with specific meets bounds to be determined later, with a final trail localization is final, will be installed with the location is determined. The plan will provide sidewalks along Alsgren Boulevard across the front of the project site. However, sidewalk has not been yet provided along Alsgren Boulevard to its intersection with Westchester Pike. The condition of approval applicant or master site with a 5-wide cinder trail to connect the sidewalk to the intersection maintained by the owner to be replaced by the sidewalk as the master site is further developed. It's a condition of this approval that the master site owner will execute all the necessary easements, land development, and financial security agreements to ensure and secure any such off-project site requirements supporting the application, including this trail. The following waivers are also conditionally granted with his approval. Section 148-12 for joint submission for preliminary final land development approval, and Section 148-43B4 to allow HDPE stormwater pipes. The township manager is authorized to sign any agreements on the behalf of the township necessary to illustrate this approval. Resolve this 22nd day of December 2025 at a public meeting of the Board of Supervisors. That is my resolution.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously with one abstention.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did they adjourn?
No, I think.
Clear answer.
No.
They already did it.
All right, we will come back from that break. All right, so we are going to do the resolution, it'll be, resolutions of legislature in action 14.3, resolution 2025-27, setting the 2026 township millage rate. What I'll do is I'll read this, and then,
Actually, Mr. Chair, I think you probably should pass the budget as presented and then do that separate. It should be two separate actions.
okay, so that'll go back to 11.4. 11.4 was consider approving the 2026 township budget. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor Russo, and now we'll do board discussion here, and then we'll also allow board discussion for the resolution. But if there's any board discussion, now's the opportunity to say so. Again, we'll also have it for the resolution if there's none now. Well, I'll just make just a couple of public comments or just a couple of comments that I want to thank Steve and Tom for going through this with your staff. I mean, multiple times over and over again to make sure that we are getting as much savings on these items that we could. As Steve said in the beginning of this, what's driving this primarily is our contractual obligations, not just employment contractual obligations, but just contractual obligations for third-party increases, the additional contracted increases for IT, electric, recycling, insurance, debt services, so on and so forth. So we are not reducing any services in the 2026 budget. We are not also adding any additional services and keeping the status quo to what we have here in Newtown Township. With reducing, taking the police cars out of that and adding that into the fund balance, I think is also a wise move of what we're doing. So the gist of really where we are is, costs are just going up. I voted for the police contract because it was something that was fair and still is fair to make sure that our men and women in uniform are at a competitive rate compared to where we are in the county. And so this is not just on the shoulders of that contract. I want to be clear that is just salary and benefits across the board, and then other contractual obligations. So that's what I'll say before.
And I'll also echo the chairman's comment. I mean, Steve and his staff had gone through this budget many of times, and we've looked at it many of times throughout months. And for a township that has a full dedicated police department, it is impressive what we're doing at the budget we are doing. And, it's just, it's a nice thing to have all the things we do have in Newtown Township, and there's a cost to it. And, we are really trying to do the best we can of what we have. And I think you've done a great job in your staff on looking at this in many different lights.
I mean, I'll just tag on to what you're saying, because I've really been torn on this decision, and I'm the last person who wants to support a tax increase. I mean, I know it's inevitable a lot of times. I feel like, especially, over the last month or so, I know you've helped me go through it. I've looked at it. We've talked about what if you take out, certain things that are just critical, and the amount that you would save based, compared to what you get for it in the township, I think just doesn't justify it. But, it's not a decision that at least I make lightly. So it's what it is, I guess.
And I think too, the other thing I'll just add is that there are other municipalities, this is on par to surrounding municipalities and then that are around us, but then also, we could take a much more drastic approach, which is slashing positions. But I don't think from a policy perspective, that's something that is wise when it comes to wanting to retain qualified individuals to run this township. And so, we have looked at every option, every available opportunity for us. And again, I think that this budget is the best work of that product. So thank you again, Steve and everyone else. There's no other comment. I will ask for all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. So now we'll go down to 14.3, which is resolution 2025-27, setting the 2026 township millage rate. A resolution of the Township of Newtown in the County of Delaware, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, fixing the tax rate for the year 2026. Be it resolved and enacted, and it is hereby levied on all real estate property within the Township of Newtown, the tax rate for general purposes of 2.1658 mils on each dollar assessed evaluation, or the sum of $216.58 on each $100,000 of assessed valuation. The assessment for fire hydrants is 0.0270 mils on each dollar assessed valuation, or the sum of $2.70 on each $100,000 of assessed valuation, which whether or not the property is exempt from taxation. The assessment for streetlights is 0.0407 mils on each dollar assessed valuation, or the sum of $4.07 on each $100,000 of assessed valuation, if located in a streetlight district, whether or not the property is exempt from taxation. Adopted this 22nd day of December 2025, and that's my motion.
Second.
Motion was made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion? Additional board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Section 15 is board comment. One thing I did fail to mention is, in addition to this being Tina's swan song, it is also the day before her 30th birthday. So
My 30th birthday.
the anniversary of your 30th birthday. So happy birthday to
Thank
Tina. It's also a happy belated birthday to our township engineer, Mr. Johnson, whose birthday was last Saturday, I believe, right? So congratulations on making another year, Eric. Any other board comment? We'll move to section 16, public comment, if there's any public comments. All right, thank you very much, everyone. This meeting